Hello everyone, and welcome to Victoria's Action Figure Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars 2013 Republic Fighter Tank. Here's a look at the packaging. So this fighter tank is a smaller version of the original vehicle from 2009. And it's part of the lineup in which Hasbro attempted to shrink down some of those vehicles. Now, although this one is smaller than the original vehicle, it's not actually too much smaller, and I'll show you an example right here. Alright, so as you can see, it is a smaller vehicle, yet it's not quite as small as the Jedi Starfighters or the Slave One in this line that were also shrunken down. If you compare those to the originals, they're quite a bit smaller. This one is smaller, but it's not puny in comparison. Another thing you'll notice about the vehicle is that it is extremely lightweight. It probably doesn't weigh more than 7 or 8 ounces at the most. It's super light. The underside is quite bland. There's not much to it. There's no wheels, unlike the first vehicle. I think these little stilts are just kind of there to give it a little bit of height, as you can see. Like the original vehicle, it does kind of maintain the look that it is hovering, which is great. I'm glad that that's something that they maintained. And you also get the opening hatch, the opening cockpit. You get the firing missiles, the movable turret. The pegs that were on the original vehicle are carried over to this one. And the paint scheme on this one matches the very original release from 2009. The colors are the same. You get the burgundy with the off-white color, and then the green stripe. I actually owned the original vehicle, but then when I realized that I could have this one, like with the Jedi Starfighters, I went ahead and got rid of the original, got this one, and then I made sure that I maintained a repaint of the original version, which you saw a few moments ago, the green and tan version. That way I could have the vehicle in both molds. So when you take the vehicle out of the package, there is a little bit of assembly required. You have to put on the top hatch, which is basically this half right here, and then you have to connect the side missiles, and then you insert the projectiles, and you attach the opening hatch and the rotating turret. Pretty easy assembly. It only takes a couple minutes at most. Alright, so the first part that you assemble is you snap this on right here. And this is far different from the original, of course. So that whole thing opens up, and you can see one clone in there. The original, you could see 2 clones in there, and you would put them in through the top, of course, as these 2 pieces open like that. This one, it's a smaller vehicle, so you only get to put 1 clone in there. I haven't tried any Phase 1 or any Clone Wars figures in this vehicle, but I found that the super articulated version from the Revenge of the Sith line, any repaint of that figure fits in there quite nicely. But you don't want to put in any of the Evolutions figures, because anything based on the Evolutions mold doesn't fit. The legs are just too wide, and you'll have to squeeze them to get it in there, and it's not a very comfortable fit, so best to just avoid that. I'm sure any of the newer vintage releases with the skinnier arms and legs will fit in there comfortably as well, as will the newer Saga Legends Clone Trooper. So you put your figure in there, and then you just press down, and the sides basically tab in place right there, and your figure's in there. You can't see them, unlike the first vehicle. And then to get your secondary figure in there, you're going to go to the top hatch right there and just simply pull it. Now, unlike the first one, which kind of just closed, this one actually tabs into place, which is nice. I wish the original had that as well. And there's a little view of the inside of the cockpit. There's not a whole lot of room in there for your gunner. Unlike the first vehicle as well, the other thing that is different is that your clones can't be placed all the way in. This guy that's about as most as he goes in. The other one had room for the legs, that way you could seat him all the way in and close the hatch. This one you can't do that, unfortunately. He kind of just stays like that. And it's not a huge deal, but that's one of the things about the first one that I think made it a more fun vehicle. even though they're quite similar in some respects. And of course you can spin that laser turret right there as you wish. Like the first version, the cannons also can be moved. They're actually easier to move on this vehicle. You don't get the clicky sounds like you did with the original, since it was ratcheted. And the other cool thing, of course, as I mentioned earlier, were that the pegs on here are still there. That way you can go ahead and plug in your clone troopers. Just kind of stand them there. On either side. There's several pegs on either end and at the back of the vehicle. So, that's one cool thing I liked about the first one, and I'm glad that they carried that forward to the newer one as well. All right, so to fire your projectiles, you're simply going to turn the vehicle, aim, and then with the two buttons that you'll see on either projectile, just fire the missile. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars 2013 Republic Fighter Tank. All things considered, it's an okay vehicle. I am certainly glad to have it because, I like these smaller versions of the vehicles, but it's just not as fun as the original. Given that they retail for about the same price, even though the original is out of production, you can still get the original in the secondary market for about the same price as this retails for. Now, I still like it just because I like having, the smaller sized vehicles. But if I was going to advise you to take one or the other, definitely go with the original version. Thanks for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.